Chevy Vortec V8 GMT800 trucks, O2 sensor tips. Here's every single one that I know, where they are, how they go bad, how to fix them. We're gonna check it out on the computer. Let's get into it, guys. Trust me, I'm a mechanic. All right, so we're back on the 2006 Chevy Silverado. So these trucks have 4 O2 sensors, 2 upstream and 2 downstream. So the 2 upstreams are the same, the 2 downstreams are the same. You can swap upstream to upstream, downstream to downstream, but you can't swap them like this. So you can't go downstream in the upstream hole or upstream in the downstream hole. You have to keep the upstream sensors the same and the downstream sensors the same. I'm pretty sure they have different connectors too. So if you got a flex fuel vehicle, those O2 sensors are different than a regular gasoline engine. All right, so I'm in the 06 right now. We got it hooked up and it's in an open loop status because the O2 sensors are cold. So they read from 0 to 800 millivolts, so 0 to 0.8 volts. All right, so you can see right here, there's no problems. They're all reading about the same. Let's crank it up. All right, now that we got it running, you can see what values are good for 06 Silverado. These O2 sensors are good and there are no problems with these and this truck. So you can look at these. If you got a problem, these are good. So you can see they're switching now, but it's still open because they're not warm. So the computer's not using any of these values. It's running off of the programming already in the computer. Once it gets hot, it'll go to closed and then it'll use these values. We're gonna wait for it to heat up and get into closed mode, and then we're gonna see what it's looking like. All right, the truck is warm now. It's in closed loop mode. It's using these O2 sensor values to help the engine run. All right, so when I press on the pedal, the sensor numbers will change. See, there you go, they're dropping close to 0. It's because the air-fuel ratio is changing. These are narrowband O2 sensors. It's hard to diagnose this way, but if one's stuck at 0, not reading right, you'll know, oh, that one's bad, swap it out. So the closer we are to 0 millivolts is lean. The closer we are to 800 millivolts is rich. So we can think through it. You know, if it's close to 0, it's not getting enough gas, fuel into the engine from the injectors. If it's closer to 800, then we know that it's getting too much fuel for some reason. It can help you diagnose other problems. So here's the short-term fuel bank right here. We press on the pedal, you'll notice they change. So I'm just pressing on the pedal, and as the O2 sensor changes, sensor 1, sensor 2, it adjusts these values and helps get the right air-fuel ratio while the engine's running. So with the fuel trims, long-term and short-term, 0% is ideal. If it's negative percentage, that means the engine is running rich. It has to cut back the fuel that's being injected to the engine. If it's positive, that means the engine is running lean and it's saying, okay, we have to add plus this much amount of fuel to the engine to make it run properly. So if you see positive, it means it's running lean. If you see negative, it means it's running rich. So that's how these work. Basically, if these two, bank 1, sensor 1, bank 2, sensor 1, these are the ones it uses for the air-fuel ratio. If they're stuck at 0, or they're stuck at 800, or they're not updating, not reading properly, you know you got a problem. Bank 1, sensor 2, bank 2, sensor 2. These are for the emissions. They just tell the computer how well the cat is working, the catalytic converters. So don't really look at those. But on this, they seem to be working properly, and they are. I don't have any O2 sensor codes on this truck. So basically the open loop is, start the engine, hey, I'm sitting here, I'm warming up. You know, I'm trying to read off the computer, I'm not really using the sensor. Once it gets up to temperature, okay. Now it's reading accurately. We're in the closed loop mode. Computer's saying, read the O2 sensor, adjust the fuel, you know, so it can figure out exactly what it needs to run properly. And then, you know, shut off the truck, cools down, goes back to open loop mode, crank the truck, open loop mode, warm up. Now we're in closed loop mode, reading off the sensor. So rinse and repeat. Basically, truck's cold, open loop. Truck's warm, closed loop, and the closed loop reads off the sensor. The open loop reads off the tables pre-programmed in the computer and doesn't reference the sensor until it heats up. All right, so here's the scan tool I'm using, VX Diag, VCX Nano. I just plug it in the OBD2 port. I can plug it in the laptop and we can see what it's reading. So you don't have to have this OBD2 scanner. You know, this one is good because we can see the voltages and we can watch it, but some of them just output like a graph, you know, charts, and that's a lot more difficult to read than a voltage. So I just stick in the OBD2 port down here, you know, I can plug it in a laptop and watch it. So, you know, these values will jump all over the place. It's very hard to diagnose just by looking at the computer. Basically, if I get a code on one of these trucks, get in there, swap out that sensor it's telling me, because you can try to watch the computer. I've done it before. You know, if one's wildly different than all the other ones, then it's probably bad. You know, like if you have Upstream Bank 1, Upstream Bank 2, you can compare those two because they're the same sensor and say, oh, wow, this one's really off. Okay, yeah, it's bad. But they jump all over the place, up and down, and it can be very hard to diagnose this way, but it is a way to do it. All right, we got a lovely 4.8 Vortec V8 engine right here. So we got the O2 sensors. We got one down in there. Actually, we got two down in there. And then we got two right down in there. You know, it's the same with the Avalanche, doesn't matter. You know, the Silverado, it doesn't matter either. It's the same O2 sensor setup. So under the truck, down here, you can see the O2 sensor setup right here. Here's the downstream ones. There's the downstream right there. And then we got the catalytic converters right here. So your downstream monitors the catalytic converter. It's basically for emissions. So it sniffs the exhaust gas right here and says, huh, how's the truck running? Oh, guess what? You got bad catalytic converters. So that's all this one does, and it's technically not needed, you know, unless you live in a heavy emissions state, but I always leave them on here. And so if you have the downstream O2 sensors reading bad, honestly, you can ignore it. It's just annoying. It's not gonna hurt the performance as far as I know. It's really just there for emissions, but of course, you know, we wanna make sure we're compliant with the emissions, make sure the truck isn't polluting, so we're gonna take care of it and get it fixed right up. 'Cause I'm a good boy. All right, so the main O2 sensors the truck uses is the upstream O2 sensor right there, and on the other side to monitor the air-fuel ratio so that the engine runs properly. So that sensor is before the catalytic converter, right up there. And the other upstream O2 sensor is right here in the passenger wheel well. All right, so the biggest problem I have with these O2 sensors is they get stuck in the exhaust, right? You know, if you can diagnose it, it's just a code. It'll tell you which one's bad, and then you can just swap it out, right? Well, if they've been in there for 20 years, they're gonna be stuck in there. So you gotta get the special tool and put it over there. Looks like a crow's foot, it's bigger. It's a special O2 removal socket. A lot of guys don't have problems with them. I don't personally like them. They say, you know, you can put a hose clamp around it so it doesn't slip off. But another thing you can do is deep end the connector, slide a box wrench right over it and break it loose. Sometimes you gotta get a pipe on it. You can cut the cord, cut the cable, boom, cut it right off, put your wrench over it, break it free, or you can get in there and just take your chances, put the wrench flats on there, break them free. You know, the safest way is the O2 sensor removal tool. Only use Bosch O2 sensors. Never, ever, ever get knockoff O2 sensors for these trucks. Trust me, I use the Bosch ones. Guys love Bosch O2 sensors. They work the best. Upstream, downstream, doesn't matter. That's the ones I use. All right, so I got my socket on there and I have a breaker bar on here so I can break it loose. You know, these are normally really stuck, but there it goes. Easy, just like that. Came off. This one wasn't too stuck on here. Now, you know, if they're really stuck, you know, I just start with the breaker bar so I can get that leverage on there. But this one wasn't that stuck, and it does look a little rusty. But sometimes they can get really stuck on here. But yeah, it comes right out like that. And you can see the old one right here is all nasty. Look how burnt up that is. It's been running rich. All right, so we're gonna get the new one installed just like that. Get it threaded in there, get it started by hand, and we're gonna come back and tighten it down. Oh yeah, going right in. There we go, we got the O2 sensor tightened down now, and we got it plugged up to the electrical connector up in there, and we are done. All right, so we have two O2 sensors right here. You can see upstream and downstream are physically different. So you're gonna have to make sure, you know, you get the right one. If it's for flex fuel, it's also different too. You know, you gotta look it up, make sure you get the right sensor for your setup. So here's two Chevy sensors right here. And the tip I like to do is, I like to get in here and put some anti-seize on these threads because they will get stuck in the exhaust. You'll never be able to get them out again. Put some anti-seize on there, you have no problem. Now, a lot of guys don't like doing this. I do it. You know, I've seen manufacturers say do it how you want. That's one of the tips I like doing. So if we take a look at this sensor right here, it's got holes here and it's got holes right here. Now it can breathe, so it uses this to reference, sniff the exhaust right here. And then right here it says, oh, here's the fresh air. It can tell the difference between the two, and that's how it gets its readings. So I've said in the past, you can get in here, put a little dielectric grease in there. Some guys don't like doing that. You do it how you want, but some of them have a tube that goes from the back here and it gets air from the tube. These don't. They sniff from right here. It's got a little filter in there, a tiny little hole, and it's how it reads the air outside of the exhaust. So here's two upstreams right here, and here's an upstream off of a flex fuel vehicle. You can also tell the connectors are different, so you know, can't really just swap them out. The years, makes, and models, they're different between the years, and the style right here, downstream, upstream, everything's different, so you really got to make sure you get the right one. I'm gonna show you how I anti-seize these O2 sensors so they don't get stuck in the future. All right, so here's the anti-seize I've been using. This is the silver kind. The copper kind works better for this high heat stuff, but this stuff, you know, it doesn't take much. So you can see we got a brush, and I'm gonna show you how to put it on here. So I normally just get the brush, and I mean, you put the tiniest amount on there just like that. So, you know, you got to get in there with your fingers, something, a little tool, and get it on there and clean up any excess, but that's really all it takes. You don't want to get any on the sensor, you know, like that, thumbprints, all this stuff. Clean it up before you get it installed, and that way, you know, it's gonna read right because you didn't contaminate the sensor, and you'll be able to get it out in the future. So you just want the tiniest little bit, even further down on the threads than this, you know, come down a couple threads and get a little bit on there, and you should be good to go. All right, y'all, that's it for the video. That's all the O2 sensor tips and tricks I know for these GMT800 trucks. You know, once you get the code and diagnose it, swap it out, get that old sensor out, get that new sensor in. If you can get them out that easy, you'll be good to go. You know, only do it right once. You won't have to do it twice, and it should last a while. Fix any O2 sensor codes with your truck. I'll check y'all on the next one. Plenty more GMT800 Chevy truck tips coming in the future. Don't forget to subscribe for those, and drop me a huge thumbs up down below. Check y'all on the next one. Later.